This podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. In order to get a free audiobook download and a free trial of their service, go to audibletrial.com/bonfireside chat.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat Appendix,
where we ask you to reach out and touch the demon inside of us. And this week we are taking your responses in regards to, just kind of the tutorial and then Demon Souls in general, first impressions and whatnot.
Did we get any feedback about our last episode of Dark Souls?
Astonishingly, no.
How do people not care, or did we learn something in the 6 months that we did the show?
I think that we learned something. I was like, no, surely this couldn't be. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I went back through.
People don't want to blast us with Dark Souls the ending theories, and I don't know. Yeah. I guess our fans are better than Xbox Live, but for some reason I was expecting my lack of confidence going into the end of that. I was expecting a response that was.
I think people thought we were going to be dead after Dark Souls ended. So
yeah, I guess that's true. A lot of people are talking about us like we're dead, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait for Dark Souls 2 to come out." So there's more episodes of the show. It's a shame about what happened to Gary and Cole, closed casket and everything. Like, what are you talking about? We just switched to Demon Souls. Everything's fine.
They buried a casket of bricks.
Yeah. One for each of us.
Normally we do errata during this, which we are referring to this season as mistaken world tendency. So if we fucked up anything in the first, we do swear on this show. If we fucked up anything in the first episode, let us know at Duckfeed.tv/contact, or if you have responses about the area that's coming up next, same thing there.
Yep, and we will read them. And I'll go ahead and start us off with just responses. We didn't have any corrections, as we said. This first one is, and we were asking for responses about the tutorial, the Nexus, and kind of generalities, because that's what we were talking about. So Murph Murphy says, I played Demon Souls before Dark Souls and found it inscrutable and tossed it away, souring me to Dark Souls for quite some time. After I got on the Dark Souls train, I came back and found that most of the skills I picked up before translated very easily, making this time a real treat. I'll get it out of the way. I like Dark Souls better than Demon Souls. Demon Souls just feels like a less refined version, graphically lumpier, the moveset feels slightly less tight and simpler, but coming back from Dark Souls, it's close enough to scratch that itch. General complaints are few. It's a much less forgiving game for casual melee builds than it is for magic builds. The tendencies and upgrade mechanics are at best complicated bullshit, and there are a few blind corner enemy surprises, but none that rise to the level of the fucking Arrow Knights in Orlando.
Yes, referring to a particularly irritating patch in Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm. The tutorial level is tutorial level. I like how the Grey Demon at first playthrough seems insurmountable, but now I've almost got him beat. It's a clever Easter egg. I enjoy the Nexus from a thematic and architectural standpoint. It feels ancient, but still lived in. From a practical point of view, it's just too large, and I dread the walk up to the monumental, though the sight of the one lone monk among the dead is certainly creepily beautiful.
Yeah.
The NPCs in the Nexus all have this archetypical feeling, like something out of Journey to the West or American Tail. And on top of that, they're pretty functional and self-explanatory.
It should be noted he said American Tall Tale, not American Tail, the Fievel movie.
I was thinking it was Fievel. What's American Tall Tale?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's something interesting because Murph is on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there probably a lot of things can be drawn between them and Fievel as well.
Well, I'm sure one of the kingdoms is west, therefore it is like Fievel goes west.
Sure. Sure, yeah. I'll take it.
Where do the rescuers come in?
After the Aristocats show up.
Oh no, the aristocrats.
Yeah. So Mr. Fantastic comes into an office and he says, I got an act for you. Take my dick and I stretch it through my wife, out of her mouth, into my daughter.
Jesus.
The Aristocats.
The Aristocats. You keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah, if you keep switching them up, it just ooh, that's a different. Why wasn't there an Aristocats section of the Aristocrats movie?
I'm not sure.
That would have been incredible. Not like I don't want like an animated section.
Yeah.
I just mean somebody, referencing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First impressions of the Souls games are always real interesting. It would be trivially easy for me to go back to the first episode of a show I did a while ago, where I talked about Dark Souls. My first impression of it, saying it was some bullshit.
Did you really? Was it and you decided to stick with it?
I just like I checked it out from work. I worked at a GameStop at the time. I was like, man, this is just horseshit. And then I talked shit about it on the show. And then there was something I got my job, and I was like, oh, I have money now. I'd like to celebrate. I think I'm gonna go buy Dark Souls.
Well, what flipped in you though?
I think I started reading the Something Awful thread. Because there has to be something to this. And
Yeah.
I read the Something Awful thread, and people's enthusiasm for it kind of bled through.
Right. Yeah, I went into it with it so hyped.
Yeah.
There were individual elements I remember thinking were bullshit, and some of which I was wrong about. Like some things I changed my mind about, but I never had a moment where I was like, "This whole game is bullshit."
Yeah. So it's weird. I came in only on the reputation of Demon Souls. And so it's like this weird inverse double mirroring of Murph's experience.
Yeah. The parts about the skills transferring is really true, and I was going to talk about that in next episode when we actually start doing some kind of fighting. But playing one Souls game, it's not like you played them all. Like it's still a different experience, and there's still tricks, but you can't quite recapture that. The feeling of just kind of hanging on for dear life, inching forward, not realizing what matters and what doesn't. And that kind of thing we haven't found again.
Right. Yep. It'd be interesting. So the call is still out there. If you're listening for the first time, if you know of anything that approximates that feeling in other games, let us know.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're getting into a bunch of new names here, a bunch of people through the contact page, which it's awesome to see. Mason via the contact form, again, Duckfeed.tv/contact, says, I actually played Demon Souls right after Dark Souls, so I had an idea of what I was getting myself into. At the beginning, I made a Temple Knight and started roaming around the beginning area. The few enemies I faced were very easy, considering I had quite a bit of experience with Dark Souls. Getting all of the grasses was odd to me, considering I had only been accustomed to Estus flasks, and was overwhelmed when I had over 15 quantities of healing items. I get to the end of the level and begin fighting the Vanguard, expecting an easy fight. My hits hardly hurt him, and I take out maybe a fourth of his life. I thought maybe this was supposed to be like the Asylum Demon, but nope. He turns around and completely one-shots me. I breathe a sigh of relief when I realize that despite my previous experience, I'm still in for a challenge.
Yeah. Agreedo.
Yeah, kind of the same thing there. Follows.
Yep. Allison via contact. We want to say that we pimp the Facebook page not just because it helps our egos to have people like it, but also because it's a really cool aggregator for Dark Souls content. Allison made some really cool Dark Souls Lego art.
Yes.
So if you jump on our Facebook page, you can see that, and it should be relatively fresh at the time you hear this. So it'll be on that first page if you scroll down. Very cool.
Yeah.
She says via contact. Regarding Demon Souls, what a great game. Based on all the hype it was getting before the official US release, I was one of the crazy people who threw down the cash to import the Asian version. I knew as soon as I started the tutorial that I was in for something special. Then I got to the boss. The Vanguard obviously smashed me to bits before I even knew what was happening. The real Demon Souls starts here indeed. It wasn't until years later, watching Squint's amazing LP on Something Awful, that I saw what happens if you do manage to beat the Vanguard during the tutorial. Also, I'm sure you are aware of this, but one bit of speculation regarding the broken 6th Archstone of the Nexus, and is that it being called the Land of the Giants, is that it was supposed to lead to Lordran. That's something to think about. Oh, and it took me way too long to find that stupid monumental.
Yeah.
Agreed on that last point. That did take me a long time to find him.
Yeah. So a lot of people mention that. We don't really get to it till next episode, but it's completely fair. So.
Oh, the taking too long to find the monumental?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Archstone.
No.
What do you? We'll talk about that as it comes up, because the relationship between these games is the Solaire, the Solaire, and the Archstone. It's a of this game. Like, it is the place for wild speculation in there. And there's nothing in the description of the Giant's Archstone to lead me to believe that it's Lordran, other than that it's giants and some people in Lordran are big.
Right.
Plenty of them are not. It would be a neat touch. Like, if they had done that, that would be a really cool thing. Yeah. And there's nothing really that says they couldn't exist in the same world, like vastly different time periods.
True.
So, in one of the big lore guys on YouTube, Hazara Firefly, who I don't ascribe to everything he says, but that's his big thing, is that Dark Souls is a prequel to Demon Souls.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I've seen that, in other places too. So that's it's tantalizing, in terms of like I like finding connections, for things. I don't see a reason why it couldn't be. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. It has no effect on anything either way. So the sixth Archstone, I see that as being kind of like a sign of like, oh man, things are really desperate. People are cutting off their sole means of of travel to other kingdoms in order to stop this thing. One thing, but like from a more like meta kind of thing, like that could be DLC or could have been DLC or
a planned area that they didn't have time to implement.
True.
Like they started doing it and then they just kind of didn't want to redesign the entire Nexus.
Yeah. So it'd be like Ulasil, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Definitely could be that. It'd be a rad DLC. Yeah. Like, I'm interested in more souls no matter what happens. No matter what price I have to pay. Satan, are you listening to me?
5 years later, to Demon Souls DLC.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it had happened.
Right.
That's what I mean. Even though, again, like what you're saying, of course I'd be for it. It'd be pretty crazy. Yeah. But I always just kind of thought of it either like what Cole's saying is it's a sign of things just kind of being in repair, or it just being an area they didn't finish.
Right.
But,
yeah. So Andrew says via contact, the opening to Demon Souls is one of the most atmospheric openings to any game ever. From the oppressive music to the washed-out color palette, everything in the opening is seemingly designed to break your spirit in one way or another. How it shows you game mechanics through essentially a game mechanic of using the messages to give you info was brilliant. And the fact that you have to die in the tutorial is reminiscent of the only other game I can think of that does that, which is Mega Man X. And after having played and beaten the game, going back in with a new character to finally see that there was content after the Grey Demon was amazing, only to be crushed immediately by the Dragon God. Upon arriving in the Nexus, the truly oppressive atmosphere comes to a head with this massive structure you can't really escape, filled with lost and forgotten NPCs, all of which have an interesting and colorful history you find out throughout the game. That and being greeted by the Maiden in Black, basically saying that not only are you dead, you don't even get to die until the world has been saved, is a great opening to the game. That and the introduction to the Monumental is a great study in giving the player just enough information to carry on. The fact that he is surrounded by other dead Monumentals and all alone at the top of the Nexus is really depressing. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And we'll talk more about the Monumental.
Yeah.
Next episode. Interesting character.
Yes.
That. I feel like there probably are more games where you get that forced death in the beginning. But this one, what this kind of does is that it's not forced. Like, isn't it possible you can't beat the beginning of Mega Man X, but you can force the game into essentially just clamping down on you.
Yeah, I think so.
You can hold your own long enough for it just to kind of take it away from you.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, I'm thinking of like Metroid games to a certain extent too. Like it's something where there has to be an incident.
Oh, like Ridley. Yeah.
Yeah. That causes you to lose your shit.
Final Fantasy II, I think, does that. Has a mandatory death at the beginning. Yeah.
Maybe? No, it doesn't.
The one I'm talking about, the regular 2.
Oh, okay.
Not Final Fantasy 4. I'm not a gaijin, Cole. I don't refer to Final Fantasy 4 as Final Fantasy 2.
Sorry. Okay, so here's the thing. There are two possible numbers that people could say that could evoke the same game, and I will always, in kind of this Heisenberg-esque way, try and take it back to the game that stars Cecil and Kane. So...
Yeah, you'll do that for everything, though. Yeah. Like, that doesn't have to even be a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, true.
Like, agreed on most points is, on pretty much everything that you're saying. The music being different is something that I want to just have illustrated kind of as we use music throughout the episodes. But I really like the soundtrack in Demon Souls.
It's really good. It's more melodic, more atmospheric, a lot less chanting. Chanting is okay in boss battles, but it's a little bit more, I guess, versatile, for lack of a better word.
Much more variety.
Yeah.
Like when you get into things like the Adjudicator's theme, which is this kind of like sour horn symphony, like off key, like queasy horn symphony. Like it's not always trying to be epic. Whereas like almost all of the boss fights, except for Gwyn and Dark Souls, are trying to evoke, and that's not always true. Like Priscilla has a little bit something different going on with like Butterfly.
Seath.
Seath is pretty epic. Do you mean Sif? Sif is a little bit.
No, Gwendolyn, the one that has kind of like the crazy plucked violin.
Oh yeah. Gwendolyn, yeah, for sure. But most of it is just dun 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 dun, dun. And it goes for a lot of different kinds of moods. Here.
Sour Horn Symphony is my favorite Mountain Goat Split EP.
Yeah. And just sound design in general. So we'll talk about it in a couple months, but that dinging sound from 3, my student worker has that as essentially, it's not, he didn't rip it from the game, but there's an onboard text tone for an iPhone. That's pretty much the same thing. And gets my hackles up a little bit every time he gets text. Partly because he shouldn't be receiving text at work, and then partly because it's just that one of these fucking Ithalids has seen me. Like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Great sound design. Levi goes on to say, one phrase/question can sum up the beginning of my Demon Souls experience. Where the fuck is the monumental?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is the fucking monumental?
Yeah. That second
which is that big monument they built to commemorate Bob Pollard's parents. Just Mr. and Mrs. Pollard in coitus.
Coitus is the grossest word.
Coitus is pretty gross. Even and adding interruptus to it doesn't make it what it does. And this was something I used to joke with my friends about when I was like in my early 20s, is how coitus interruptus sounds like, because it's Latin, it makes it sound like it's being said by like a filthy Greek guy. And then not like a modern Greek guy, an ancient Greek guy. So it's not racist. No one's racist against the ancient Greeks. And and I used to always walk around going like, don't worry, baby. Dirty Euripides practices coitus interruptus.
Jesus.
Yep, that's what passed for humor in 2001.
We were more naive,
Yeah, exactly.
9/11 hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Yep. So, do you want me to take us home?
Yeah, it had in 2001.
Well, okay, so there were 8 months. So the majority of...
Yeah, most of 2011 was cool.
Most of 2001 was fine.
1 4-month period that was a real bummer.
Yeah, that was that. Like, but we were unified as a nation.
Yeah, astute listeners will notice how long it took me to correct Cole on that. That's because I was trying to remember what year 9/11 happened. Because I'm part of the MTV generation. I don't understand things.
Yeah, no, and you always have to correct Cole.
Yeah, exactly. My desire to correct Cole outweighed my desire not to show people listening that I didn't remember when 9/11 happened. So.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to take us home?
Yeah, go ahead and take us home here.
Okay. William says via contact, I originally played Dark Souls before Demon's Souls and was obviously captivated by the game so much that as soon as I finished it, I traded in my Xbox just to get a PS3 solely for one game, Demon's Souls.
That's right, buddy.
You didn't trade in your Xbox, though.
No, I know, but my PS3 is essentially the same thing as a blender.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is a single-use appliance. It does one thing.
Yeah. Plays Journey. No. This guy, I'm trying to work out some kind of gift to the Magi kind of situation for William, where it's like somebody traded in their copy of Dark Souls to get him Demon Souls, but he traded in his PS3 to buy somebody else an Xbox for something. I don't know.
There's a guy in the corner playing Kingsfield, just kind of hunched over.
It's like a goblin man for no reason.
Yeah, the Lurch is what we call him. Yeah. And he's just sitting there with a huge bowl of probably rotten cereal, playing Kingsfield on a black and white CRT TV. How dare you?
It has rabbit ears, even though we've been on.
Yeah, he's not doing TV.
Yeah,
it's not a radio PS Okay, PlayStation, regular PS.
A radio PlayStation.
Yeah, it doesn't communicate with the TV via radio waves.
Ah, yes. So William continues. The tutorial level felt eerily similar to the Undead Asylum in Dark Souls, and as soon as that huge demon smacked my ass up in one hit, even with all my hours of Dark Souls training, I knew I had fallen in love again.
Aw,
Oh.
love is nice.
Yes.
Yeah, and same way I did. I'm sure that like when Dark Souls came out, or like however long it would take normal people to beat it, like a month or so, I bet you a lot of people did the same thing as me and William here, where like I bet you sales for Demon Souls had a huge bump. Just in the success of like, where can I find more stuff like this?
Well, they were originally going to turn off the Demon Souls servers in like June of 2012, but the popularity got it like a couple of months stay, and then finally From or Sony or somebody just came out and said like, hey, listen, we're just going to keep it on indefinitely until demand drops.
Yep.
And then Sony put it out on PlayStation Plus, which means that essentially it's going to live forever.
Yeah, which it needs to.
Yeah.
So
that'll be real sad. Like,
yeah, if it just kind of
goes away, like just it feels fragile to me that like a large part of this experience is kind of hidden and gated off and could go away as soon as they flip that switch.
It's one of those arguments against digital media that really holds no water, because when you're talking about something like Steam, like it's very unlikely Steam is just going to up and go away. But this actually is a little bit like a small developer with a real kind of spotty record putting out a cult favorite. Like this very well could go away,
right?
In a way that like Apple's not going to,
right?
And also there's the online part is intrinsic to the product. It's not just the same way like I don't have to be online to listen to an MP3,
right?
At least not yet, Obama. But to enjoy Demon Souls properly, you do have to be online. So
yeah, and the fact that it's not on like PC means that nobody will be able to bootstrap a solution around that.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Everything needs to come out PC at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to Gravelord myself in Dark Souls. It's fucking cool.
They've learned their lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God. Was it Allison who talked about getting the Japanese version? If the Dark Souls 2 came out in Japan first, like man, it would be tempting to like get a non-English version just to like play it and get some experience. Like, and I probably wouldn't feel that bad about buying it twice.
No,
like,
I wouldn't feel bad at all.
Yeah, that would be tempting.
Yeah, I bought copies of Dark Souls for friends who I wasn't even sure wanted it. I just like bought it and gave it to them for like Christmas and shit. Speaking
of which, I have that PC copy.
Ooh, yeah. Can you send that my way? I can play it now.
Yeah, I need to remember to give that to you. I'll do it as soon as we get off the phone. Cool.
Yeah.
So that wraps up our comment section. Thank you very much to everyone who responded. And as always, we welcome any and all feedback and contact.
Yeah, you guys fucking rule, and anybody who wants to write in, you probably rule too. So I
thought it sounded like you were saying, "You guys fucking rule," and anybody who wants to dispute that can suck my dick. Like I thought you were going to, the aggression with which you started that sentence didn't match the end of it. And anybody who wants to say something about it can meet me at this address at this time,
and I will give you a firm shake of hands.
Yeah,
and I will say stuff real fucking weird. So.
Yeah. We don't fight. We're not tough.
Yeah. So that was just my way of showing appreciation, and that.
No, I know. I have no problem with what you said. It's just funny the way you said it. And I actually have no problem with that. I just wanted to make a joke.
That's fine.
Some of the things I say are not true, Cole. Some of the things I say is because I don't know, and then some of them are because they are jokes.
Oh man, life is a struggle.
Yes.
So, as we said a couple times throughout, if you want to participate in the conversation, you can either go to Duckfeed.tv/contact, pick Bonfireside Chat from the drop down, and that goes to the necessary channels. Additionally, we have the Facebook group, which is where a lot of awesome stuff happens. You want to see Lego, portraits of or landscapes of
Gwyn. It's Lego Gwyn.
Lego Gwyn, yes.
It looks a little bit like Gwyn. He's in front of a fire. That's why I assume.
Yeah, I think it looks like a very simplified Lego Firelink to me.
Yeah. It makes me want a Dark Souls set of Legos. So
me too.
Bad.
Like really bad.
Yeah, and then that makes me really actually want like 6-inch, really hyper articulated Dark Souls action figures.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
You have Solaire, don't you?
He's not. Yeah, it's like a 12-inch statue though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can see him in the Kickstarter video for Watch Out for Fireballs. There's an Easter egg in that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. That company, they did Sif next, and I didn't like the Sif as much.
Yeah.
And I just decided not to get it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I was like, this does not look as unique to Dark Souls.
Like, there are plenty of places I could go to get a wolf statue.
Totally. Like every time, every time I go to PAX, there's a bunch of guys in kick-ass Sif shirts. Like,
you give me $40 until the end of the day, and I'll come back with a wolf statue.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The place is lousy with them.
Yeah. Not just PAX, anywhere. Get you a tow,
yeah, that's true.
Get you a tow in 2 hours.
I know a guy in international waters.
Calmer than you are. Okay. So let's take this one home. Usual admin stuff, tip jar, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and as always, and then what we're talking about next time, if you do want to respond, is 1-1 and 1-2. We're going to be joined by Jason Killingsworth, the features editor of Edge magazine. Excellent magazine. Excellent editor.
Excellent man.
Excellent man. Yep. Wonderful guy. So, if you have comments, get those in. As we said, sorry about that cough. Kind of rambling here, but let's shut this down.
Yeah, let's do this. So the world might be mended.
So the world might be mended.
Umbasa.
So the world might be mended.
Yeah,
Why?
That's what I was working towards. Thank you for finishing that. Oh man, I'm drinking a Yingling.
Oh hey.
Yeah.
Yingling.
It's just Two Frogs. That's what they call it on the can. Two Frog beer.
Yeah, I'll take a Two Frogger.
Yeah. Throw me a Two Frog dog. That's the marketing slogan they use. It's really
don't be a Two Frog dog.
It's really you want to be a Two Frog dog,
unless
the Two Frog dog is the dog that drinks all your beer.
I meant to say Two Dog Frog.
Oh, okay.
That's what you don't want.
That's what you do. What is this Salty Bets?
Salty Bets. It's your new best friend.
Is it? It was inscrutable. I couldn't understand what was happening.
You might not dig it. So it's a genius idea that I think anyone should appreciate.
Okay, so I don't appreciate genius. Continue.
You don't understand the idea. Or maybe you don't know. Maybe you do. It's just this guy. He set up Mugen, which is this weird fighting game engine that is like infinitely customizable. So you can import, you make your own characters. You import characters from other fighting games and everything, and people do their own mods for it. It has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of characters.
Okay.
He took Mugen, he imported all of the characters and all the stages, and he just sets it to do random matchups.
Okay.
Between them, and just AI. No real people are fighting ever in it.
All right.
And then you just watch, and you can bet on the winner. And it's like fully automated. Like the odds are determined by how many people bet.
Okay.
For what? So if something's an underdog, because not very many people bet for it, it has better odds, like a bigger payout.
Okay. And by payout, do you mean actual money?
No, there's no real money.
Okay, good.
It's all salty bucks. And the fun part, like I didn't get it at first. I was just kind of like, I don't understand what this is. But the fun part is one, watching like what is going to come up next, like what two characters. Two, the fact that they're all like kind of shitty video game glitchy AI. So they do funny things and they fuck up a lot. So, something will happen. Like I watched like my favorite match I ended up watching last night was like it was Leonardo versus some Dragon Ball Z character.
Okay.
There's like a depressing amount of Dragon Ball Z characters because there's like 1,000 Dragon Ball Z
there's
games in Japan.
1,700 of them.
Yes.
It would have been more funny to say over 9,000, but
Oh, that's true. That's unfortunately
one of the only situations in which it would have been funny to invoke that.
Yeah. So Leonardo was fighting, and Leonardo kept doing this sword spin thing that made him fly up to the top of the screen, so you could only see his feet. And then the Dragon Ball Z guy, you can only see his head. And his kind of the screen just hovered, and you just saw these feet moving around, this head moving around for a while. And then the text just says Leonardo wins, and you're like, "Cowabunga!" And in the background, it's just like real weird video game stuff, like the characters taking like super relaxed poses in one frame of animation, Like, that's real fun to watch. It's all stuff like that. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then people comment on it. And, you know, and they make funny comments sometimes. Not often, but...
So it's like a not awful version of the GameFAQs character battle?
Except it happens like it's actual battle. So you also get to watch, you know, like a fun battle. It's just like a lot of fun randomness.
Yeah.
You know, like the random aspect is really fun.
Yes, so that gives me a little bit more context of what's happening.
Yeah, it took me, that was like the thing that took me a while to figure out, is even just to know, okay, like these are not real people. This is not a tournament. There's no real money. The game, you know, you can, you know, pay real money to the site. You can join it. The difference being, like, it's free to use. Your minimum amount of money that you can ever have is $10.
Okay.
So you can always have $10 to bet, but it's more fun to bet, like, you know, higher amounts of money and get like upsets and stuff.
Right.
If you get down to $10, it's colloquially referred to as the salt mines, and then you're working in the salt mines. And then if you pay the membership, you're considered an Illuminati. And your minimum becomes $666. And then, like, that's it. That's the only pay thing. There's no ads on it, really. Yeah. I don't know. Pretty into it. It's real fucking goofy, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's got that going for it or against it. And then, like, some of the models are from, like, weird bootleg. You know, a lot of people just made them because they can do that with Mugen. Like, they're all popular characters, but like the models are really like kind of unprofessional, and they're all from different systems. So you'll have like a really high res like 3D Goku
against the guy from YR Kung Fu.
Yeah. Exactly. We're fighting, you know, like the Ninja Turtles, or not Ninja Turtles, the Nintendo, you know, Super Mario World fighting game that was like a bootleg in Korea. And stuff. They all have like unique moves and everything too. It's kind of like an amazing feat as far as that goes too. I've never seen a repeated matchup, and I've never seen I actually have, other than like Goku, which there's like tons of Gokus. Yeah. I've never seen a repeated character on it.
Yeah, no, see, it's weird. I get a little bit funny about that because I can't ever take a fighting game seriously if it's not balanced for competitive play.
That's not true. Is that true?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I was like, hold on a moment.
Wait a minute.
Stop the presses.
Let's not go so quick
destination, here. No Uber tier.
No fun.
Yeah, no fun version.
Fox only.
There's no skill anywhere.
I know.
Like, anywhere approaching. No, I'm just saying how far away this is from what you're making fun of.
Yeah, I know. No,
like, this is the absolute anti that. Like, it is just people.
I'm not trying to make fun of them in the same breath. I am also making fun of.
Yeah, no, I'm saying what you're making fun of as a selling point for this thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it is so far away from that as to be amazing.
Okay.
So.
Huh. Yeah.
People who play Smash Brothers without items are fucking idiots.
Yeah. People who like play on restricted levels too. Those are the two good things about that game.
Yeah, totally. And like that's the fun you're gonna have in that. Is just like, you know, bizarro shit happening.
Yeah.
Like just weirdo unpredictability. Like.
Yeah, I have the urge to ask those people if they would want to play no items Mario Kart.
Yeah, and they probably would, or they probably just hate Mario Kart because you know, they probably would never play Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yoshi only.
Yeah, Yoshi only, no items. You know, Mario GP1 only. Gross.
Man. Real gross.
Yeah. Competitive fighting games, like I can appreciate that. Like I can watch it for what it is, but it's weird that they choose something that is so optimized for fun, you know, and then kind of take some of the fun out of it.
And then they get upset when Nintendo doesn't let them stream at Evo.
Yeah, you missed the point, idiots. You know.
Oh well.
Even though Nintendo should have let them stream at Evo.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's crazy, and they reversed their policy. I'm pretty sure.
So the world might be mended.
I want to take a moment and say that Prison Architect comes highly recommended.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that you had been playing that.
Yes.
like $30 or something like that. I remember seeing it on a Steam sale and being surprised at the original price of it.
Yeah. It's a little it's a little bit expensive, and by a little bit I mean a lot, for a pre-release alpha build kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I picked it up on the Steam sale for I think it was like half off, or it was some substantial amount. It was like, I won't do 30, I will do this. I told myself several times it's been on my wish list. I will get it when it goes on Steam sale. It was on Steam sale, so I did it. I can see that being a thing. Like,
seeing what being a thing?
No, like not the pricing model, but the game itself. It's,
okay.
It's really good.
Huh.
It's engaging from that kind of like system building standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real creepy like social commentary kind of thing, which is nice. Yeah.
I was curious about it, and I've watched people play it, and it looks fun. But I've also traditionally, these kind of games don't always work on me, like like a roller coaster tycoon, or something like that, where you're just kind of building like a place. I can get into it, but I pick it up, similar to how you're talking about Animal Crossing. Like I pick it up for a little while and then want to put it down.
Yeah, there's definitely like an end game. It's kind of like, okay, when I build this into a self-sustaining system, then then you kind of move on to something else. But this has like it has like a little bit of a quest structure. It's not entirely fulfilled, but you have grants that you can get for like building a basic detention center, and then like building a medical ward and getting these kind of things. There's a tech tree to get for different kind of bureaucracy, so you can unlock like the ability to make the prisoners work and stamp out license plates that you can sell, or like, oh, I don't have to hire staff because the prisoners can clean the place, that kind of thing. You get psychologists, and it's funny because like those different things actually unlock interface elements. So getting a psychologist actually shows you like a more accurate depiction of their needs, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, that's why they're rioting. They're hungry.
Right.
Or like, oh, not all of their cells have windows, and they're very angry about that. And it looks like, oh, only the prisoners who don't have windows in their cells are real mad, so I should probably earmark some money in the budget. Hiring the chief of security gets you like a threat level kind of thing. The most recent alpha added contraband. So you can actually like shake down cells, and like people will try and take like silverware from the cafeteria.
Yeah, I'm watching the
like
trailer right
now.
It's showing the shakedowns.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like I'm kind of turned off by the aesthetics a little bit. I don't mind like the flash game kind of stuff, but like the proportions are a little weird. But like you eventually get matrix vision, and you can spot like blonde, redhead, brunette kind of thing. And you kind of see past that into the stuff that like underlies it. Yeah, it's real unsettling, real creepy, and yeah.
Have you seen Papers, Please?
Yes, I have seen it. I intend to purchase it. However, right now I am pretty done up for games.
Yeah, it just came out today. Like that looks pretty cool.
It looks so good.
Yeah, that looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that it's finished. Most of the stuff that I heard about it was on podcasts like way back when it was like in a beta or alpha or something like that, and it was like feature complete but not content complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the world might be mended.
Did you drop a marker there, Cole?
Yes.
I'll probably put in.
Boom boom. Boom boom.
Music is so good in this game.
Yeah.
Love it.
A lot less like.
Yeah, way less chanting.
Yeah.
Like, and I love the music in Dark Souls too, but I was so happy to have the excuse to download the Demon Souls soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, super good.
Yep.
So the world might be mended.
Grab a quick sunflower seed here.
Just one, though.
Yes, just one.
Grab a single sunflower seed. I'm splitting it with another hobo.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon